what we're doing tonight is a new thing that we are working with our child care centers and local school districts to really help parents get great information that they need to just have that wonderful relationship with their child, and to have that involvement with the schools, with the child care centers where they're at. This is called a play group. And so the traditional parent training is where you would have a formal PowerPoint, and you give all these great, bullets of information, and the parents sit there and they take it all in and they go home and they try to apply it. What we're going to talk about today is a very important topic of how to really connect with your child every day, because our lives are filled with so much stress and we're so busy, and finding those ways to get those little connecting activities so our child knows how special and they know how much you love them. And so my topic, guess how much I love you, connecting with your child through I love you rituals. Rituals per se at home are things that you do consistently, things that happen that make a child feel safe. When there is predictability in their schedule, a bedtime ritual, different things, when I do this, then we do this, this helps a child feel safe. And the more consistency that there is in their schedules helps them to feel secure and safe. And we want children to feel secure and safe. That helps them to grow and develop. So what we're going to talk about tonight, rituals that we're talking about, are delightful interactions and games that we can play with children to send the message of unconditional love. And this is on my little handout, guess how much I love you. We call them I Love You rituals. And this was taken from Conscious Discipline by Dr. Becky Bailey. And so if you're interested in more information on I Love You rituals, you can look it up on their website, and it's very easy. It's www.consciousdiscipline.com, and you can find out more information than what we have tonight. Should have grabbed my whole packet. On your tables, each of you will have a little packet of I Love You ritual cards that I created from the I Love You ritual book from Dr. Becky Bailey. And these, we made them user-friendly for the parents and the children. Once you have practiced them and learned them, you can then show this to your child and they can pick, oh, I'd like to do here's the bunny, or I'd like to do Twinkle Little Star. With you, and we're going to talk about and practice these tonight. So how do we introduce these little fun game rituals with our children? Social play rituals are for the purpose of connecting with each other. Why is it important to have connections with your children, to have connections with people in your life? Well, let me just do a little scenario. So put yourself, we're going to kind of put ourselves in the child's place. So let's say your significant other, your husband, your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, they have been particularly attentive to you lately. They've said a lot of sweet things to you. They've done a lot of things on your honey-do list. They have given you hugs, just been there for you. And while you're at work, they give you a call and they say, honey, don't worry about dinner tonight. I want to take you out to dinner. So you go out together, have a wonderful evening together. You come back home, and we're just going to, for sake, we're going to say he's sitting in the lazy boy recliner, and he's clicking the channels, and you're in the kitchen cleaning up, and he says, hey, while you're in there, will you grab me a drink? What's the percentage that you're feeling pretty cooperative to want to get that drink for him? Or, yeah, he's been, or she's been really nice to me. You might even say, hey, you want ice with that? Dr. Pepper, Coke, what can I do for you? Because you've done so much for me. Well, so you're feeling really connected with that person. Well, let's look at the flip side of that coin. So let's say, he hasn't been doing very nice things. He's been spending more time with his guy friends than with you. Nothing on your honey-do list has been done, and forget about saying nice things. They've only been telling you what you haven't been doing or criticizing what you're doing. And while you're at work, they call you, and instead of saying, I'm going to take you out to dinner, they're saying, what's for dinner? Okay? Now you've had dinner together. You're in the kitchen cleaning up. He's at the lazy boy or she's at the lazy boy, clicking the channels. And they say, hey, while you're in there, will you give me a drink? So how are you feeling now?
Grumpy and
Grumpy, not as cooperative. You might say, get it yourself. What have you done for me lately? I had one mom tell me, oh, I will get him that drink and I will pour it on his head. So how we connect with each other really determines how cooperative the person feels towards us or how cooperative we feel towards that person. So in also saying with our children, if we unwittingly have fallen into that negative nanny with our kids, and all we're talking about is what they're not doing, you haven't picked up your toys, feet on the floor, hands in your lap, be quiet, if that's all they're hearing, and then suddenly we say, pick up the toys, it's time to walk out the door, how cooperative do you think they're going to be? So that's one thing to think about. If you were feeling pretty uncooperative about getting that drink because there wasn't a lot coming to you, what are we doing in return for our little kiddos that can't really process it like our adult cognitive brains can? So that's really kind of the foundation of the why. Why is this so important? Because I know all of us have very busy lives, and I'm a working mom. I have a lot on my plate, and there's many times it's just all I can do to get dinner, clean up, baths, bed routine, story time in, and you're asking me to do what? So that's why I'm kind of giving the why, because if we understand really how valuable and how important this is to the relationship and to the development of our children, we can then make it a priority to do that. So going back to the handout, with the social play ritual games, the purpose is of connecting with each other. The goal of social play in families is to join with each other through connections. And research has shown that families that feel more connected together are happier. They report more talk of being happy and feel more connections. We want to check facial and emotional responses of children to follow verbal and nonverbal cues. So we may be really feeling it, but if it's not a moment they're feeling, we don't want to force this on them. So this is something we definitely want it to be a happy, fun interaction with the children. When adults and a child lock eyes and play, their right brains connect. And that is very, very important. We want those connections, and with that right brain connection, that's where all those feel-good connections are happening, and we want to make sure. So with our I Love You rituals, there are 4 components with that. There needs to be the eye contact. I'm sorry, I was only given 1 page, so I didn't hand this in, so if you want to scribble it on the back. There are 4 components to I Love You rituals. It's first eye contact. And you know what, I forgot, the first one is permission. So like we said, it's a agreed upon activity. The second is eye contact. The third is physical touch. And the fourth is playful manner. So if we have these components, first we have both parties are in agreement, this is something I want to do. Second, there's eye contact. So if you're doing it with a child, you want to either get on your knees or sit down together, get on their level. If you're towering over them, that may still have a sense of they have more power and they're bullying me. So we want to make sure that that is not an issue with it. So that eye contact, that physical touch in a playful manner, those are very, very important. The goals of the I Love You rituals. Number one, I Love You rituals optimize a child's brain for success in school. So not only are they able to be more cooperative, but it is preparing them for success in school, and we all want that for our children. The second one, it increases your learning potential through touch. You know, our skin is the largest organ of our body, and so the more touch we have, the more it really revs up our connections with our brains. And third, I Love You rituals create loving rituals that hold families together. And so you may have already created routines or rituals at home that is your own family traditions, and this is something that you can just add on to it. I Love You rituals also strengthen the bond between adults and children. And we find that the younger a child is that we're able to strengthen these bonds, that the stronger those bonds will stay. And so it may help those teenage years to be a little less bumpy. I'm a parent of a 5.5-year-old, and I'm a parent of a senior in high school.
Wow.
And a 22-year-old. So I've been through the teenage twice. And I do have to say that if I had have known this, we always look back, oh, if I only had known. But having those rituals and connections were really successful for me with our children, even though it wasn't these specific ones. Rituals and connections is so important for those moms and those children. All right, and then when we're working with discipline with our children, many times we find with our preschoolers, it just seems like it's that constant control fight. Well, if we have a strong connection with our children, they're going to have more cooperation, and we see less of those control fights happening with our children. So the motivation to make good choices comes from being in a relationship with one another. We want children to be self-motivated, not motivated by rewards such as candy and toys. And so if I'm feeling motivated by the connection that I have with my parents and my caregivers, then I don't need that reward of the candy or the toys to be cooperative. All right.
So you want to do an example now?
Yes, so we're going to do example. I'm going to, if you would pull the second little sheet, it's a front and back. We're going to practice a couple of the I Love You rituals that are on your key ring. This first one, here's the bunny, is written here for you. So Deborah has agreed to be my Vanna with me. So with this, when you're doing an I Love You ritual, the ones that are written, there's a simpler activity and there's a more involved activity. And so we usually ask for the child to do the more simpler activity and the parent until the child feels comfortable and can do it. So with Here's the Bunny, you can read along with that, we're going to ask Deborah to play the role of the child. And with that, when I say here's the hole in the ground, she's going to make a big hole, okay? So here I go. Here's a bunny with the ears so funny. And see, I'm giving eye contact. And we're right in sync. We're connecting. And I'm being playful. And so she's really looking to see what's going on. Here's that bunny with the ears so funny. Here's a hole in the ground. When the sound she hears, she picks up her ears and jumps in the hole in the ground. So you see, when we do this with children, it's fun, and they get the reward of that physical touch in a playful manner, and it makes them feel so good. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to practice this with each other. If your daughter would like to practice it with you.
Just with you. We want her to feel comfortable.
Rosie, do you want to practice? Do you want to play your
She's pretty busy. Yes, okay. All right. So
She feels connected? That's good.
if you feel comfortable with your partner, we're gonna practice this, and you get to choose who's gonna be the hole in the ground and who's gonna be the bunny. If you're the bunny, you follow me. If you're the hole, you get to follow Miss Deborah.
I'll let you choose.
I'll do the bunny.
Okay. All put your bunny ears on. Here we go. Here's a bunny with the ears so funny. Here's the hole in the ground. When a sound she hears, she picks up her ears and jumps in the hole in the ground. All right.
Good job, everybody.
Very good. Now this next one that's on your paper, the round around the garden, this one is great with infants. It's great with toddlers, 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds. The young ones really love this because all they have to do is hold out their hand. And that's pretty easy. And even with babies, you can just lift their hand or do it on their tummy. So Deborah, will you beat my baby? So with round around the garden, the adult takes their finger, draws circles on their hand while they go round and round the garden. Goes the teddy bear. Oh, 1 step, 2 step, tickle under there. And I have, when I do this, when I mentor in my classrooms, I have 1-year-olds that the minute they see me, they run up to me with their little hands extended. And I'm like, I haven't been here in 2 weeks. They remembered from just 2 weeks ago. So that, I made a connection with these 1-year-olds. So it's so important, and I love when I go into classrooms and I see that the kids really respond positively to this because I know that's making a connection for them. All right, so you guys ready to try this out? So one gets to hold the hand, one has the...
May I have your attention, please? The 125th book reception will be starting shortly in the library forum. Please join us to celebrate 125 years of UNT with a free concert by Brave Combo. Thank you.
Round and round the garden goes the teddy bear. A 1 step, 2 steps, tickle Awesome. So,
Sorry. You pressed our connection.
I was busy watching.
and when you're doing this with a child that you already have a relationship with, it's not as awkward.
Hopefully. You're right.
Though I have been in classrooms where there were these super shy kids that kind of just stand off to the back and they watch me do it with the other children, and then all of a sudden they push their way through the crowd, they're sticking their little fist out at me, and by the end of my 2-hour mentoring, they're right beside me. And that shows me that I've made a connection, an important connection that many of these kids don't get. Most of the child care centers that I mentor in are in lower socioeconomic areas where they may have single moms, some are homeless, some are in shelters, some don't know who's going to pick them up that day. Is it the neighbor? Is it grandma? Is it mommy's new boyfriend? You know, so they have so much instability in their life that if they have even, I tell my teachers, if you have just one caring caregiver in a child's life, that increases their success rate by 50%. Isn't that amazing? Just one caring caregiver that's consistent in that child's life. So I tell my teachers and my parents, you can be, even if you're in a tough situation. I was a single mom for 6 years. Even when you're in a tough situation, you can be that one consistent caring person to that child to make a difference for their life, to give them what they need to be successful. What an awesome opportunity. So I hope you enjoy these. I hope you share these with children because these are really fun ways to make connections. For example, the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Dr. Becky Bailey took many of our well-known little nursery rhymes, but she kind of put a little positive swing on it because some of them they're really dark.
They're probably dark.
Yeah, that's right. Now Twinkle Twinkle has a pretty good one. But why don't we pull that card and let's read that one together. So how these cards are written, where there is the dark print, that is what you say. The light print is what you do. So as you say, so you face your child, and you go, twinkle, twinkle, little star. You hold your child's hands and raise them side, and both of you wiggle your fingers together to represent the twinkling stars. And then you bring your arms down on the child's shoulder and you go, what a wonderful child you are. Isn't that an awesome message to tell a child? What a wonderful child you are. With bright eyes and nice round cheeks, a talented person from head to feet. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. What a wonderful person. Isn't that great? So these
So you can do this to your spouse too.
if you're not feeling connected.
I found a slide. That's a home run every time.
Good. That's
Whatever works, right? They might think you're a little crazy for that.
I like your hand.
Do the teddy bear. Well, and some of these are for much smaller, but I mean,
Yes,
there's some
they
really
are
basic
good.
ones here about,
This you've been gone.
You've been gone, exactly.
That's
That's
a
the
great
one.
one. That's a great one that
Especially
you
with older
can
children.
save your. It's and for it has instructions for younger one, but if it's an older, you can just say you've been gone and you've been missed. Here's a
High
hug
five.
or a high five or a kiss.
right.
So, so there's a lot of ways that we can do it. I think it's the main key is to make sure that you're having those playful, fun connections with the children that are really helping to bring all those good endorphins into their brain and having those feel-good juices come to connect you. All right, so the other activities that I put on this handout for you to be able to do with your child, this next one, underneath the Round Around the Garden, it is to the tune of Rockabye Baby, and the name of it is Held in My Arms. And so you would hold your child, if they were old enough. Your child could also hold a teddy bear while you're holding them so they could feel the feeling of holding somebody. And you go, rock-a-bye, and then I'll say my child's name, Blakey, held in my arms, having you near me, I see your charms. When things seem scary, I'll hold you tight and whisper, I love you all through the night. We do need you.
Because of what you need, we need. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Held in my arms, having you near me, I see your charms. When things seem scary, I'll hold you tight and whisper, I love you all through the night. Awesome.
Here, you can hold Bunny. You can to her too.
Yay, that's a
Bunny
great
one,
idea.
yeah.
Okay,
There
here
you
we
go.
go. There's Bunny
There's Bunny.
with the ears so funny. So here, would you like to do it again?
Hold your
Okay, here we go.
Cradle her.
And what's your bunny's name? We'll say your bunny's name.
Dirty Bunny. Dirty Bunny.
That's appropriate.
All right, rock-a-bye
Dirty
Dirty
Bunny, that's right.
held in my arms, having you near me, I see your charms. When things seem scary, I'll hold you tight and whisper, I love you all through the night. Yay! Now, this was one when Blake was younger, that was part of our bedtime ritual that we would do right after story time and then tuck him into bed. And he really liked it. He's my little busy bunny who as soon as story time was over, he seemed to rev up and he was ready to go play. And so I found that this transitional activity helped kind of calm his body and help him to get into the mode to lay down and be ready to sleep. Now, he doesn't have a bunny. He has a blanket that has a little hood that's a duck, and he calls it his ducky blanket. And we cannot go to sleep without the ducky blanket. The other night we lost the ducky blanket. That was a pretty scary night. It didn't matter how much I rocked him in my arms. No, I want my ducky blanket. Oh,
Can I have
Is it in the wash?
it was, Daddy washed it and forgot, so we put on a quick dry. All right, so you see, in just one time with that, that was a positive experience for her. She didn't want to do it the second time, so that was exciting to see that. That made a positive connection for her.
That'd be fun.
So to want to go into, just if you wouldn't mind, the next kind of extension where just the greeting rituals as they, you know, whether it's leaving or at the end of the day or whatever.
So, especially for our the younger the children are, it's really scary to have to say goodbye to mommy and daddy, and if they're going to childcare or even at Nana's, you know, that's scary. And so having some type of a ritual that helps them to feel comfortable and safe in those goodbye rituals. And so we have some ones that we've kind of worked out at our house that are fun ways. Again, it has eye contact, physical touch in a playful manner. And so one is the butterfly greeting. And so I'm going to come over to Deborah, if you can be my Vanna. Sure. With the butterfly greeting, and this is extra, this is not on your handout, so you interlocked your thumbs to make a butterfly. And when you do that, if this is a greeting, you say, "Good morning, I'm so glad you're here today." Or if you were saying goodbye to your child, you'd say, "Butterfly, butterfly, we'll be together soon." So you make up fun ways that you can connect, having that physical touch, eye contact in a playful manner. Now I know I'm connected with my parents, so it's not so scary. I know my parent cares about me, and they're going to be back with me again. There is one that Blake made up because he got tired of the butterfly. I said, or we also have the fish. Flap, 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 flap. Have a good day. So I said, "Blake, do you want to do the butterfly?" We had a goodbye ritual, so Mommy was getting ready to go to work. "Do you want to do the butterfly or the fish?" He goes, "No." He was 3.5. "No, I want to do the dinosaur." I go, "What's the dinosaur?" He goes, "Stomp, stomp, hug, hug." He had the components. It was fun. There was eye contact. There was physical. So we've been doing the dinosaur ever since, because that was his favorite way.
So it's whatever.
It's whatever.
It's that fist bump. It's
the fist bump. It's a hug. It's whatever makes a connection with your children that you have consistency in. And as much as you can let the children choose what they want to do to interact with you, it helps them to feel empowered. And we know, especially with our preschoolers, they have that great need to feel independent. So the more choices we give them, that really takes away that power. One of my pre-K teachers came up with a funny one I want to show you. So you interlock, she said, this is the skunk. So you interlock and plug your own nose. Yeah, nice to see you.
That's interesting.
Isn't that funny? So you can get really creative. Yeah, you get really creative.
But you know, as you have with older children too, you know, and they
Yes.
stop not wanting the hug and stuff, you know, then you can kind of do something a little cooler that you can develop together.
Yes, yes. So the last one on our handout for you to take is done by the tune of Frere Jacques. So it goes Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques. And so this is again an activity that you can do with your child in a transitional time, a bedtime routine, part if you have a longer time that you could say goodbye. You know, this is right when you get home with them, this is an activity you can do too. So we're going to practice this one. So and you can do the activities with your child, or you can do the hand motions. It's give a big hug, show you care, show you care. You are so unique, you are so unique. Here's a hug, here's a hug. And the second verse is let's high five. Alright. So these are fun ways that you can continue those playful interactions with your children. So the keys at the bottom, keys to success for using those rituals. Review the ritual before trying it with your child. If you're like, oh, I don't know that it's not going to have the same effect. So try to practice it, get comfortable with it, And then select a time and place, whether it's waking up, saying goodbye, bedtime ritual that works for you and your child, and try to stay consistent with that time. The more you can keep it consistent, then it really becomes a ritual. Be fully present. So while you're doing it with your child, this would not be the time to check your text messages or talk to your husband and give him directions where he needs to be right now. This is a fully present. And as you see, these activities take less than 3 to 5 minutes. So it's really something that you can give your child the gift of time. And this is something that research has shown all children want from their parents. And so if they're not getting your time in a positive way, they're going to be acting out and doing everything they can to get your attention in a negative way. So we want to help feed that need for your time in a very positive way. So also be fully present, and last but not least, relax and have fun with your kids. Remembering that that's one of the main components that really makes those deep connections between your child and you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate your time. Do you have any questions? Do you have any more information you would like to know? Any troubleshooting between parents? Because every child needs to come with their own handbook, right?